Good morning. My name is Smart Nzewa. I come your way once again today, just looking at what we can do, how we can innovate to bring back the Nigerian economy. It's been badly managed over the years. Human error all the way. Absence of leadership, clear leadership, no doubt about that. Absence of clear, credible, demonstrative leadership. That's been the problem. So I want to look today at benchmarking the performance of all politicians. If you go to school, you take your first school leaving certificate, you have a grade. You do your school sat, you have a grade. You go to university, you have a grade. You do your master's program, you have a grade. You do your doctorate, you have a grade. But you become a politician, you have no grade. There is nothing. There is no metrics to measure your performance as a politician. Nothing that we can hold on to and say, okay, this is this guy's performance, or this was this guy's performance while he was in office. How do we measure them without bias? How do we measure them objectively? How do we make sure that every politician who passes through has a record of performance or non-performance that sticks with him, as it were? In the West, they conduct polls, and to a certain level, the polls are credible. We can't do the same thing in Nigeria. For now, we can't. Our systems can always be rigged, as it were. So we can't just rely on polls. It's just an opinion. So party faithfuls will always shift it to wherever they want. But we need an objective metrics to measure the performance of all politicians. And we need to keep the record. So how do we make for this accountability? This is my suggestion. Hire 2 or 3 very credible international consulting agencies to construct a matrix to measure the performance of politicians in office, from the local government councillor to the president. We all know their duties, and then we measure them against what they're supposed to do. And we keep record of what they have done over the years. And then we construct a 10-point scale, 20-point scale, 5-point scale to say, okay, if you come out with this composite rating, this is what it means. If you go behind, you'll be able to get the details about what led to, assigning this figure to this person. Let's know those who are performing. Let's know those who are not performing. If somebody is 36, out of 36 governors, why should he ask for a second term? Why should he? This morning I was reading something from the papers, as it were, and you're looking at all the states, those who pay salaries constantly, pensions. They will look at Anambra State. You see there, on salaries, 0. They're not owing anybody. Pension, 0. This one, 0. This one, 0. This one, 0. This one, 0. Why will you rate that same governor as somebody who is owing 18 months salary arrears, who is owing the 24 months pension, who is owing? Why will they be the same kind of governor? Why will they? They are not the same. There's leadership here, there's no leadership here. The figures are there. You can just look at the parameters to say, he's not owing. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's just doing. But somebody else is stealing the money that he's supposed to use to pay salaries and pensions. And then tomorrow he will travel to Lagos or Abuja and do cash and carry award and come back and display the plaque, and will be proud of himself that he has done something when he actually deserves no award. So we need a standard metrics to measure the performance of all governors. Host it at a website available to the public. that during election we'll be able to say, okay, did this governor perform for 4 years? We don't need any biased analysis or any biased opinion about what the governor did. We need something very credible, very objective, not subjective. We'll be able to say, okay, from these agencies, this is what he scored. He scored 6. He scored 4. He scored 2. He scored 9. And the facts are there to back it up. The facts are there. Not something that is contrived because you parted with money to one newspaper or to one agency and then they contrive and give you one nonsense award, give you best performing governor award when you're owing. Who told you you're the best performing governor when you're owing? Look at Anambra State. Go and look at that record. On all counts, they're not owing. The same thing with Lagos State. On all counts, they are not owing. The money to run Nigeria is in Nigeria. Forget about all these lies that governors tell. The money to run Nigeria, any governor who is creative, any governor who is conservative, any governor who knows how to manage resources, who will cut down on the cost of administration and do the real things will find money to do what it's supposed to do. Only those who keep sharing money, who keep stealing the money, keep giving excuses. And at the end of the day, they've piled up that money. They give you 10,000, you vote for them. They continue with what they are doing. We need to make a break with that. Let's have an objective platform, an objective metrics to measure the performance of governors and give them a grade. Not just the governors, all politicians from president to the last. We know what they're supposed to do. We use their job functions to create the metrics and assign figures, get a composite rating of what the person is doing, and assign a figure. And then we know this is very credible. We're not asking a government agency to do this. They will just mess it up and corrupt the people who are there. We're asking people who are detached from the government to be able to look at this. I mean, they can pass an act to say this should be done. It's another way of having a check on politicians. We don't know what they are doing now. We can't rate them. Everything is anecdotal. You can't clearly say this is who this person was or is in office. You can't. Let's get it done. There are fantastic Nigerians who can design the metrics that will, bring in everything. And we'll be able to look at everybody's performance. We have governors who are just criminals, as it were. That's what they are. You can't owe salaries for that long and still be moving around freely. Do you have conscience? Do you have conscience at all? That families go hungry each night, and then you're busy sharing the money you should have used to pay them salaries, giving it to people, your cronies. Let's get a standard metrics to measure the performance of all politicians, and the figure will stick. If you had grade 3, when they were grading work, that's what you had. If you had second class, upper, lower division, that's what you had. If you had a first class, that's what you had. It gives us an idea of what you did when you had the opportunity to serve. Why can't we do the same thing with politicians? Let's grade them. When Nigeria grows and gets to an era where you can rely on polls, maybe we can look at polls, exit polls, this one polls and stuff like that. But right now polls won't work because they will corrupt the polls. They will corrupt the polls. Let's get somebody who is detached, construct a metrics, measure these people, put it up somewhere. When you're asking for a second term, we're not asking you for what you want to promise. We look at the record of what you have achieved, and on the basis of that, we'll be able to say, hey, you deserve a second term or you don't deserve a second term. We're looking forward to improving elections in Nigeria to the extent that politicians can no longer rig themselves into office. As soon as we get to that point credibly, then the electorate will be in a position to determine who becomes his leader. Right now, most of the people in office, nobody elected them. They know themselves that they just rigged themselves into office. You can't be a senator and be sleeping in Abuja and come back home and and, deceive the people and get all your allowances. You can't be a governor and then month in, month out, you go to Abuja, collect allocations, come back, and you can't pay basic salaries. You can't. You share the money. You would rather share the money to your cronies. That's wickedness. That's carelessness. You're not performing. You're not a good governor. If you like, gather all the plaques from all the newspaper agents. You are not a good governor. You're a very bad governor. In a good democratic setting, nobody will re-elect you into office. You know it. You just buy yourself into office. And then you get the security vote. You don't use it for security. You don't use it for security. You just keep, feeding yourself, as it were, and then doing all kinds of stuff. And tomorrow you will come and deceive the people. So I'm advocating for us to get, a real metrics to measure the performance of politicians while in office, and we keep the record. We'll use it someday. If you want fuller details about some of my discussions, you can go to Amazon.com. If you go to Amazon.com, you can download my book. I can assure you it's loaded with ideas. It's loaded. Amazon.com. If I were the president of Nigeria, what would I do? What would I initiate? Read the book, find out what is in it. This political season, if you're a politician, get some copies and give people to read. Read yourself. Read yourself. If you object to some of the things that have been said in the book, you can go there, write a review. That is not a good review. But if you agreed to most of the things said in the book, write a good review about the book. www.amazon.com. Just a click away. You will get a soft copy or you will get the paperback copy mailed to you. Paperback mailed to your address. I like your response to this. Thank you.